Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our second episode of the Copper Pyramid, which is a Nerdsmith Presents limited series. My name is John Hubwood, but everyone here calls me Ran. I am your GM. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a writer, a game designer, a professional tabletop role-playing games nerd, and general thing enthusiast. But today I am escorting our lovely cast through the eldritch horrors of the Copper Pyramid. So let's quickly get into a player introduction. Go ahead, get started, guys.
Hi, I'm Jenny. I use she, they pronouns. I am currently playing Edith, an up-and-coming journalist from the New York Times. I love her very much. She uses she, they pronouns and is very, very gay. Yeah, I am a voice actor and an artist, and I have been on Nerdsmith for quite a while, so you can see me on a couple different things. Yep.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I play Esmira. Esmira is a pilot and a supernatural enthusiast. Let's go with that. And she is one of my favorite characters I've ever played because I'm playing with these wonderful people. I am almost no social media presence, except for on Saturdays I run a game with our lovely co-player. She, her pronouns.
There you go. Hello, I am Cove. I use all pronouns, and I play Delphi, who uses she, her pronouns. Delphi is a mortician and taxidermist who's really bubbly, really happy, really optimistic, really gay, and really oblivious to various things. That's me.
Fantastic. And usually we would have a fourth player, Raven, who plays the incredibly normal and average American citizen, Dick Jones, who is definitely not a Soviet spy. Why would you say that? Why would you even think that? But Raven is unfortunately ill, and we miss her very much for this stream, but she'll be back next week, hopefully. Now, before we get started, I'm just going to quickly shout out our sponsors for the stream. So first of all, we've got Die Hard Dice, who make amazing dice and dice-related accessories. Check them out if you're after some pretty maths rocks. I'm going to quickly look at my script. We have Hero Forge, the internet's home for custom miniatures. We've got World ANVIL, which is a great resource for everyone who is struggling through National Novel Writing Month, like myself in this November, or anyone who's trying to build a world of any kind. And in fact, it's being used here on Nerdsmith to make a homebrew world, which is very cool as well. So last session, our intrepid heroes made their way to this mysterious island in the South Pacific, having met each other on the plane ride over and having taken a boat with some friendly sailors to get here. When they arrived, they decided to investigate the beach and this strange wilted jungle they found on top. Looking around the beach, they eventually found an abandoned Soviet sub with some interesting cryptic markings written on the side, which our players took home to try and decode over the course of the week. And I believe you've been successful. Would you like to share with me, what did that Soviet code say?
1 second.
How not a Soviet spy managed to undo the code.
So what I imagine is that Edith was kind of just in her tent, not able to sleep after our revelation about what we're hearing is not, in fact, waves, but the sound of a giant pair of lungs. Would have instead started cracking away at the cipher that we had found on the side of the submarine, and managed to find that it translated to, "It grows, it learns, it can read our words now, and I will be eaten too. It knows all it needs from me, and now I am just meat."
Yeah, so that was fun.
That was so fun to figure out at 3:27 in the morning.
Yeah. So following that, they decided to head up and find a place to set camp. They found a mysterious road running through the jungle made of strange copper tiles engraved with all different sorts of hieroglyphics and strange pictures, which they decided to follow the path that led to the west, which was carved with sunflowers, and ended up finding a clearing with some strange-looking pools in it, two sort of rectangular reflecting pools that were filled with what looked like clear water, but when Esmira went to try and take a sample, stirred up some pigment that was lying at the bottom that made them instead look like they were full of fresh blood. Everyone set up their tents, and Edith took the time to try and camouflage it with bits of the dead undergrowth of this wilted jungle that was surrounding the camp. And everyone went to bed to catch up with their friendly NPCs and get some sleep. But just before you went to bed, you heard a mysterious second code, what's called a tap code, which was also deciphered over the course of the week. And what did that one say?
It grows.
Yeah, it did. And then, just as you were going to sleep, everyone except Esmira realized that the sound of waves, which you'd been hearing all day, which makes sense considering you're on a small tropical island, wasn't actually waves, but rather the sound of lungs breathing in and out. And that was the note on which you guys went to sleep. So we're going to pick up from there. And I'm actually going to grab Edith on her own for a moment if our other players would take off their headphones.
Oh,
and I'll get right back to you.
Oh, no.
So, Edith, eventually you do fall asleep. Like, you stay up late, you're working on these codes, but it's been a long day of travel, like wheeling around on the beach, which is never an easy time. You're tired, you're exhausted, you go to sleep, and you're dreaming. So Edith, she usually takes a train from Connecticut into New York, you said, right?
Yes.
Yes. So you're pretty familiar with the sight of those old-fashioned trains where it's sort of the hard-backed seat that's back-to-back with like a second compartment in sort of the more standard carriages of a train, as opposed to like the fancy private compartments you get in first class. So Edith,
Yes,
you're sitting in one of these seats. Outside the window, you can see scenery moving past very quickly. It's almost difficult to tell whether you're looking at forest or roads or anything. It's just the train's moving very, very fast. And you feel someone is sitting directly behind you, like back to back. You can feel their head sort of just pressing against your head where you're seated on this seat. And you hear a low, smoky, feminine voice say, I'm so sorry, but please don't turn around.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay, thank you. It's just, if you turn around, you're going to wake up, and I feel like we should speak briefly before everything starts. I do apologize. Would you mind telling me your name?
I've never had a dream like this before. Edith.
Edith. That's such a pretty name. I'm really glad that I've got the opportunity to talk to you because I don't want you to die. And right now you're going to die if you don't do something soon. If you're counting hours, I mean, I've sort of seen how you guys count hours. It would be the second hour of the morning right now. And the jungle's about to wake up. And you wrapped your tent in vines. That's bad. You don't want that. I hope that I get the chance to talk to you again and that maybe we could speak on some more pleasant things. But for now, you need to wake up and you need to move or you're going to die.
Oh, okay. Or anything else? Or just try to wake up, I guess. How do I do that?
Well, the fastest way would be for you to turn around, but if you prefer, I can wake you up. I suppose the other thing I would say is just be careful of the people that you're with. They all have their own reasons for being here, as do you, but just, you don't know each other that well. Maybe reserve judgment until you're sure you know who they are. And you feel this person behind you sort of lean back a little bit, and you can feel this long, sort of curly hair touching the back of your neck. And then in an instant, you're awake. And we'll just get our other players back. So, Edith, you jerk upright in your bedroll at it must be a very early hour of the morning, but you hear a very strange sound that sounds like something stretching, like the sound of like wood creaking or something stretching, like that sort of like kind of a noise.
Yeah, I'm gonna wake my companion up, and I'm going to pull myself out of my tent as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Okay. I am going to get you to roll a nimbleness check for me.
It's a 19.
19. Excellent. So Luann jolts upright when you wake her and scrambles out of the tent following you, just in time as all of a sudden you see all of that greenery, that like dead dried vines that you'd looped over the tent, those strange like broken dead flowers. Everything seems to suddenly fill into pure greenery. Like they do not look dead, and looking around you can see that strange stretching, creaking sound you were hearing was the sound of all of the trees on this island standing upright all of a sudden, as if they've suddenly gotten a jolt of sunshine, water, and you're surrounded by lush jungle that stretches up 100 meters. Like we're talking almost redwood-sized, massive jungle trees breaking into a perfect canopy. So the only space that is open to the moonlight and the stars is this small clearing you're in. Could I get an awareness, not an awareness, what's it called in this one? Listening from our other two characters, please. So one from Delphi and one from Esmira.
Sure thing. Oh no. 10.
10. Okay, Esmira is asleep.
8.
8. And so is Delphi. Okay, so Edith, you are the only one who has been awoken by these sounds. As you see, those strange dried vines have filled, and now it seems like the actual bulk of them that you had thought was sort of a rusty brown is a deep, pulsing, dark crimson color. And those thorns that had been relaxed have snapped back to almost look like velociraptor claws just sticking out of the vines that are wrapped all around your tent. And as you watch, you see these vines contract and pull, and it is pulling the tent out of its pegs and towards the forest.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna first wake up Delphi, and then I'm gonna get Esmira, and then I'm gonna get Dick. So I'm waking everybody up. 'Cause no.
Okay. So Edith comes into Delphi's tent. I assume a shake of the shoulder. What are you doing? Just calling from the opening, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna put my hand on her shoulder and then just kind of like shake a little bit and just hum. I'm so sorry. I know it's really early and really tired. The forest is alive and just ate my tent, so maybe we should get up.
Getting up, like getting out. The forests are usually alive. That's kind of a good thing.
No, like breathing, moving, like taking things, not like living, thriving
Squirrels?
chlorophyll. No, like trees and vines are moving and grabbing things. So maybe we should get up.
Getting out a little faster.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I just assume that Delphi sleeps in like a sleep mask of silk with something like written across it.
Oh yeah. It's it's like the equivalent of what would be like the juicy pants today, but like the silk sleeping mask. It has like freak or something on it. She like pulls it up. Her hair is like up in rollers and shit.
Does she
All
have
right,
the
so
fluffy high
scrambling-
heel slippers?
High-heeled slippers.
She does not wear heels. No.
That's where she draws the line. So yeah, stepping out of the tent, you are greeted by that same very strange vision of, it seems like you've just been set down in the middle of a thriving jungle, the Amazon, Borneo, Sumatra, somewhere like that, which compared to the limp, dead plant life you'd been dealing with before is quite startling. Could I get a discipline check from Delphi?
Yes. I'm good at that. Watch me roll terribly. I need to warn everyone, I rolled 4 nat 20s in my one-shot yesterday. My
Oh, no,
rolls
you're
are
screwed.
going to suck today.
Yay!
Okay. There's a 16. What does a 16 buy me?
A 16. Oh, okay. This is your first one, so 16 will work. You look around at this forest and you are just chilled to the bone with this feeling like this is not right. This is not natural, but you manage to like contain that feeling before it affects you more deeply. So this is a mechanic that I've explained to you guys before, but I'm going to explain for our audience, called the witness system, where when you see something that is eldritch and impossible and horrifying, you have to make a save against it or you'll be sort of foreverly mentally scarred by what you have just witnessed. So you've managed to avoid that this time. Seeing the jungle suddenly filled with life growing in front of your eyes, like you see just watching a tree growing like a centimeter, 2 centimeters, 3, 5, a feet, like a foot, just within the space of a couple of blinks of your eyes as this forest just grows.
Concerning, but an improvement, honestly. Is that your tent? Looking over at the tent that's just being evicted.
So the tent is gone.
Was
You can't
gonna
see
die,
any
so
any clues of it. The only thing left there are the tent pegs, the metal tent pegs. They're still there.
Okay. Wow. You lost tent privileges fast.
Apparently, yeah. I'm gonna
so
go
I
wake
assume-
up Esmira. The ability to speak by the time that she reaches Esmira is definitely reduced quite a lot. So she's just gonna tap her awake. It just Forest 8, my tent. It's breathing. It's moving. We should. And then she's gonna leave.
So, Esmera is a fairly light sleeper usually, but was passed out dark night last night. You tap her and she kind of like eyes you awake and she grabs your wrist and looks at you and then realizes it's you and slowly lets go of your hand before sitting up. And it's like,
Yep.
The what?
The Forest 8, my tent. So we should probably. It's alive. It's moving. It's grabbing things. It's conscious. So we should go. That cipher's given me a real. Anyway, I'm gonna. Yep. And then she's gonna pull herself out of the tent.
The one thing is that there is no refusal to believe you. There's no, you like, the Forest 8 my 10, and she's like, cool, machete. Well, not cool, obviously. But she grabs the machete and she walks outside, half dressed to have a look at what's going on outside.
Great. Could I get a discipline save from you as well?
Oh, that's not good. Botch.
So what did you get?
I got a 1. So it's altogether a 6.
1.
A natural
Okay.
1.
So seeing this horrifies you on a core deep level. You're actually from a jungle. You know what jungles are meant to look like. They are not meant to look like this. It's too deep. It's too dark. It's too sudden. Like, even having looked around yesterday when you were still in the sunshine, there wasn't this much plant. Like, there weren't this many plants there. It shouldn't be making this big of an effect. Like, even if all of those plants suddenly stood up and were fine, there are too many plants. So I'm going to get you to actually write down on your character sheet, first witness, the jungle grows.
Got it. So Esmera, like, literally, her hand goes limp, that machete falls and plants itself into the ground, and she stumbles backwards, falling on her ass, and her eyes go up and up and up to the top of the trees. Her jaw is hanging, and she goes pale and starts to shake.
It's gonna reach over and kind of just pat her arm. Hey, it's really freaky. I agree. But we're here together so we can figure it out. It's, strength in numbers.
So your companion Luann went to go wake Dick. Luke has stumbled out of his tent. Dr. Dazai has followed Delphi out as well, which means you have a small ring of yourselves, your NPCs, and the sailors who came with you, all looking around at this very strange sight. Could I get a sight check from everyone, please?
Okay, Cove, this thing of you that you have given me your botches is you played the game. You rolled the crits yesterday.
19.
You keep your botches to yourself. This dice is going into dice jail.
Don't worry, I got real close. It's a 3.
3, okay.
Watch, natural 1.
Again? No?
Okay.
It's gone into dice jail.
Okay.
This is dice jail. This is where the dice that the kids get to use.
I got a 19.
And a 19. Okay. We got a 3, a 1, and a 19. Is that right?
They're real
Excellent.
groggy. I woke up awake and then
Yeah, you woke up
It's Mary
feeling
staring
very
straight up still.
fresh.
She's
Yeah.
staring still up at these trees. She is not seeing anything else.
So Edith, looking around at this jungle, the other thing you'll notice is you guys thought that there was like a hill in the center of this clearing or something like that. Like it was all covered in vines and dead trees and lots of stuff. Like you were going to check it out the next day, but now you can see what it actually is. And what it actually is a very strange looking white stone pyramid tower. It's somewhere between the two. Like it's stepped, but it's much steeper than a pyramid would be. And it just right at the tip comes to the same height as all of the canopy around it. There's this thin stairway that leads up the outside to the very top level where you can see a dark doorway going through. And you can see it has all of these intricate and ornate carvings going all the way up. On the bottom layer, you can see there are statues of people kneeling, facing towards this tower. Then sort of as the levels go up, it's covered in these pictures of like sunflowers and streamers and all sorts of like very pretty carvings, although there's still something slightly unsettling about it.
I don't like this place. I don't like it. I'm gonna be entirely honest with you. I don't think we should be anywhere near these trees right now. Does that make sense to anybody else?
As Mary looks down, do I notice the tent pegs eventually?
Yeah.
Beach isn't going to be safe either. That explains all the pigs we found. What the fuck happened?
I had a little bit of a freaky dream about someone telling me that I was going to die if I didn't wake up. About not trusting people. And that covering my tent with vines was a very bad idea. So I woke up to my tent getting tugged, and I got out and woke you guys up. That's what happened. That's it. That's everything.
Oh.
Esmeralda looks at you for a second, then looks at Luke and is like, we need to get them back on the ship.
Look, I don't think you're wrong, but I don't want to walk down that pathway right now. And he points back at the road, and you can see that even though the road itself is clear, on both sides the trees like arch over and join into a canopy above it. At the very least, I'd want to wait for daylight. I mean, I know you've got a machete and I've got a couple of cans of gas, but I don't think it's going to be enough to completely get rid of all of this green.
Okay. Where's Edith?
Sorry, what?
Where's Edith?
She's just with you guys. She's not straying too far away from anybody.
Okay.
She's probably like a half step behind you. So Where is she? Oh.
No, sorry, I meant where's Dick? My brain went sideways.
Oh.
Dick and John are talking like very close by, but not quite as tightly knit into the group. And you can see that they just look like a little bit pale, a little bit off. Like they clearly feel ill in some way.
So we
And
chose
when,
this. Yeah. And
when you sort of turn to look at her, she lifts her hand and waves and is like, I'm here. I just not feeling great. I might sit down for a minute. And yeah, she sits down in the sort of empty mud of this clearing.
So when we chose this place, we chose it because there was that rock cliff that was on the other side of the beach, right?
Mm.
So
Yes,
if
I
we go
think
to the cliff, is it still too dark to see, or do we see anything else has changed?
So you guys followed the path through the wilted jungle for about 20 minutes, half an hour before you came to this clearing, which is where you set up the tents. So getting back to the beach and the rock cliff would be about half an hour through the jungle.
Okay.
In the dark.
Look, let's just... Some of us stay awake, the others we need to sleep, rest, whatever, we wait for daylight and we pack up and leave.
Luke will go, makes sense to me. Look, why don't we move our tents a little bit closer in towards that really weird fucking tower, but it's the furthest thing away from the jungle.
That is true.
There's a tower. There's a tower.
Once it's pointed out to you, you can see it. And I'm actually going to ask, I know we've got some art of the White Tower, so I'm going to ask if we can have that put up for our audience so they can see what you guys see. So yeah, moving the tents doesn't take too long. The sailors will help. They are clearly equally freaked out as you guys are.
Are there arms on that tower?
Yeah, there are sort of giant arms arching around from what is essentially the back to your eyes. You can't see what there is behind it. But they're made of white stone. They're not like human, like flesh arms. They're clearly carved.
Small mercies.
A beach Russian submarine. A whole mess of missing people. A self-drowned body. A random gunshot. A tent eaten by a forest. And that. We are getting paid enough for this.
And Luke will sort of laugh slowly under his breath and be like, I'm sure we can renegotiate at this point. And he sort of nudges your shoulder with his shoulder, and then starts helping move the tents closer into the base of this structure.
Delphi
So you guys just going back to bed?
No. Notice the sun must stay awake. I'm staying my ass awake.
Delphi's gonna offer for Edith to use her tent instead, since Edith got consumed. And she'll kind of
thank you.
Yeah, I'll stay up. I'll sit by the door, flap thing, make sure everything's okay. You can get some sleep.
Look, the lucky thing is, because you had a very small tent, your wheelchair was parked outside, so you have not lost your wheelchair. Just all your spare clothes, all your stuff.
Thank you so much for sparing me my mobility aid. I appreciate it so much.
You've got your pajamas, you've got your notebook because you fell asleep literally holding it, and you've got your wheelchair.
To be fair, I have another suitcase tucked under my wheelchair, so hopefully that is also there, but
And
a little storage compartment.
All right, so who's sleeping? Who's staying awake?
I'm gonna try to get a little more sleep.
I am staying awake.
staying awake, keeping watch, and also getting a spare pair of clothes ready for Edith.
Okay. Do you guys want sight or hearing checks from those who are staying up and awake?
Hearing, please.
Hearing. All right, go for it, Delphi.
I'll go with sight.
Okay.
$18.
18. Okay.
24.
And 24. Okay. So Delphi, just listening, that strange, like, elastic groaning sound, which you are starting to realize is the sound of plants growing at super speed. But the other thing you hear is the sound of a body being dragged. Like, you're very familiar with, like, the movement of people and bodies. This is what it sounds like if someone, like, drops a body and is like, oh shit, like, trying to pick it up and move it again, essentially. And when you turn to look in that direction, you see the corpse that you were busy dissecting. A flurry of bamboo has grown out of its stomach, just pushing through. And the various pieces are, having been separated, are being pulled away by those red vines with the massive thorns on them. And when I say massive, I mean like the length of your index finger, slightly curved, like just too big.
Delphi's gonna look at it for a second, and then just... You can have it. Go back to her task.
Esmera, with your 24 looking around, the first thing you notice is a beautiful set of what you think must be hibiscus flowers. They're like gorgeous, massive red and purple blooms. And that is what you think right up until looking at them. You see one that is straight on instead of off to the side. And you realize that instead of the normal like long stamen and pollen that goes in the inside of a hibiscus flower, there is a human eye.
There's a what?
There's a human eye in the center of the flower. Bloodshot brown iris staring at you. And I'm going to need you to make another discipline check, please.
I'll be dead by session 3.
That's
19.
why I made you make backup characters. 19. One moment, please. Here we go. All right, so it's a discipline. Okay. All right. So, Delphi, you and Esmera are sitting next to each other, right?
I don't know what
Sort of-
Esmera's doing, I guess.
We can be.
Yeah. Esmera suddenly stands up without a word and begins to walk towards the jungle.
No. Gonna get up and try to grab on and just call back. Dr. Jazai, a little strength help, please.
All right. Give me a might roll.
Both of us or just Delphi?
Just Delphi. Esmera, you can hear your mother calling you. And for some reason, it doesn't feel out of place. It's just like, of course, your mother is calling you. You need to get back home. You're only a kid. Like, you can't be out this late in the jungle on your own.
Hey, heading to my mom.
Yeah. Delphi, how did that might roll go?
I nat 20.
Hell yeah, you did. All right, so Delphi just summoning some inner strength, just like, oh no, this is not happening. Gets Esmera right in the stomach and pulls her over into a fireman's carry, which is very funny because Delphi is a solid like 1.5 feet shorter than Esmera, as far as I'm aware. And Esmera, as this shoulder hits you hard in the solar plexus and like all of the wind leaves your system, you are suddenly aware that you were walking towards that eye that you saw in the jungle and what's going on where you are. And this isn't the jungle of your home. This isn't like you weren't headed home. You were walking into a dangerous place with no idea why, just because you made eye contact with that flower.
Delphi, put me down.
No.
I will. I'm gonna wriggle out of your hands.
I will attempt to not let you. I don't trust your mental state. And Delphi will
Alright, I
call
think
out
that-
again for Dazai.
All right. I'm going to call this a dodge on Esmera's part, and I think it'll be another might from Delphi.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And
Not-
Dazai will be coming over.
I'm gonna laugh if the tiny goth manages to wrangle her. 21.
21,
No.
and
It's a 13.
it would be okay.
I
So
think
Esmera manages to wriggle out.
Instead of like falling, trying to wriggle backwards, Esmera just kind of looks and pulls herself forward and falls the other way over your shoulder. And then stands up. Is like, I'm fine now, I'm fine. Don't look at the flowers.
At that point, Dazai arrives.
fine. Kind of wave a hand in front of your face. Just like crouching down. Can you take a look at her with me real quick? I know you
Certainly.
say you're fine, but you were just walking into the forest when you were the most adamant one about us not doing that.
Could I have a
The-
smell check from Delphi, please?
Sure. I'm good at the weirdest shit. I lied. I suck at everything. Even with my bonuses, that is a 5.
Damn, you sure do smell things sometimes, but not today.
I have a nose, I think.
Harlan, you're so stuffed up. Esmera just kind of like shakes her head a little bit. She looks very serious and she's like, it's fine. The flower just got into my head for a second. Don't look at them. There's eyeballs in the middle. 100% serious. 100% factual. Like saying, oh, I almost got hit by a car.
All right. I'm going to try to do this examination myself real quick, just to make sure nothing's too rattled, there's no concussion happening. Just let me know if I fuck up. Over to Dazai. Before
It's-
essentially just running through a generic concussion check.
Yeah, for sure. Why don't you give me an education check and you can add your training in medicine. No, we have a first aid skill, don't we? Yes.
There's medicine, yeah.
Medicine. Use medicine. That makes way more sense. Occasionally, I run games in so many systems, and I'm like, what can you do in this one?
Do the things. Do the things.
Excuse me.
Esmera's not going to stop you, but it's not the most pleasant patient. It's kind of like you like want to check the eyes and it's like, it's that I'm fine. So it's a little bit of resistance, but it's not like stopping you.
I got a 16.
A 16. Okay. Esmera does seem fine. The only really noticeable thing is that in her scarred eye, the eye that is white, it just looks a little bloodshot. Like it just looks a little like overworked, like she's leading into eye stress. That's pretty much all you can see.
Okay.
Other than that, she's fighting fit.
She'll take a step back and will kind of hold her hands up. Thank you for kind of humoring me. Everything checks out. Do you want a hand up?
Yeah, and she like go grab your hand and stand up. She is going to look and see, not to like lock eyes again with the eye flower, but is the eye flower still there?
Here it is. And just very faintly, you think you hear your name being called, like just from very, very far away. But
And
you're
then
not like locked into it the way you were before.
breaking contact. Yeah, the pink hibiscus, not okay.
Noted.
There's something freaky about this place. And it's trying to get us.
Maybe you should get some sleep.
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
Returning to those who are asleep, however, Edith, you are having a dream. If we
What
could
do you
have the other
want?
players take off their headphones for a moment again, thank you. Okay.
So upset.
So, Edith, you are seated in the audience with a bunch of other children watching a puppet show. All around you in the audience, you can see there are other people, but as you turn to look, you realize that they aren't people, they're mannequins watching the show. But they are reacting
Great.
like they are people, like they are clapping, they are laughing as the events of the show go on.
Why
But yeah,
are you
they're
bullying me?
dressed and sitting like they're in a typical audience of when Edith was a child. So, in the early 20s, 30s, sort of a vibe of time period and clothing. A mannequin on a rail moves through the audience, offering popcorn and refreshments. When it reaches you, however, you can see that inside the bags is not popcorn, but a mixture of sunflower seeds and bloody knuckle bones.
Cool. Can you throw up in a dream? Can you do that? I don't know if you can. Gross. That's gross.
There's no sound, but instead you can see subtitles as if you're watching a silent movie. So every so often, the puppet show cuts to black and that big white text appears, letting you know what's going on. So on the puppet show, there's a group of people who are all weeping and wailing, and they're starving to death on an island covered in jungle, much like the one that you're from. They keep getting eaten by these big monstrous plants, or you see these big pink and purple flowers with eyeballs inside them, and the little dolls will get up and move towards them and disappear, never to be seen again. It's very creepy. It's very bad. But then suddenly, out of nowhere, another puppet springs up from sort of in the middle of things. And this one is moving kind of like a clown, arms and legs akimbo, lands in an acrobatic pose and does a little bow. And as he does a bow, his head falls off. And it rolls across the stage and down and into the audience. And as it comes to a stop in front of the audience, it is a human head. Human-sized human head. It's not a puppet. It's not a mannequin like the people around you. And when the puppet pulls up from its bow, in the place on its little puppet stump neck, there is a sunflower.
Cool.
So there's this sunflower, these big glossy green leaves sort of falling over his shoulders like a little cape. And he begins to laugh and dance around the people, and they all begin to smile. And the audience applauds around you. Do you applaud?
After watching a human head fall and roll off into the audience, I don't think so.
Okay, so we have Edith just sitting there completely still watching this puppet show. It goes on for some time, so the people are starving, the people are sad, and this puppet dances around, and every so often some horrific violence occurs. So the puppet's doing a little clownish dance, and then it reaches out and into the torso of another puppet and pulls out a bunch of red streamers, which it throws around gaily, and all of the people on the stage dance and laugh and move amongst the streamers. But you know what those streamers are symbolizing. As you're watching, you feel someone next to you grab your hand, and it's a human hand grabbing your hand, and suddenly, before you can look around though, you hear someone say, "Don't look away, just keep watching." It's the same voice from before.
I don't think I want to keep watching.
No, but it's a story that you'll need to know if you're going to survive. The good gardener has a long story to tell, and if you miss the end, you miss the important part.
The good gardener? Who's the good gardener?
Oh, Edith, I think you know who the good gardener is. And on stage, the Sunflower Man turns around and grabs another one of these bodies and rips it into pieces just with his bare hands. The ribbons and yarn of the puppet splaying all over the stage, all over the rest of the puppets in a mockery of blood. And all around you, the audience stands and applauds, sort of a roaring standing ovation of this story. And all of a sudden you wake up in your tent to, you think it must be the light of dawn, and you can still hear the crowd's roar of approval and the sad sigh of the person who is sitting next to you.
I'm getting bullied.
All right, so the rest of the night passes uneventfully now that you know that there are dangers to keep an eye out for. And as dawn breaks, you hear Edith waking with a gasp inside Delphi's tent, because you guys are all seated pretty close together, I assume. And yeah, your dawn is breaking. The sun is coming up. You assume, because with the thickness of the canopy surrounding you, you know you're not going to see it for a little while, but the starlit sky above you is getting lighter.
Upon hearing Edith wake up, Delphi is in the tent in an instant.
I'm crying. That's terrible. That was terrifying. I hated it. Thank you so very much.
Hug immediately, like kneeling
Aw.
by, like head in shoulder, hand on the back of your head, like patting, rubbing your back.
Esmera ran in behind you. While you're comforting Delphi, just kind of like kneel next to where you're sleeping. It's like, what did you dream?
We gotta watch out for the good gardener. I'm really, that was terrible. That was awful. Also don't follow flowers into the woods. I'm not entirely sure. There was a lot of disemboweling and a human head and things falling all over the place, and it was awful and terrible, and I hated it.
So Esmera takes your hand and it's just like, it's okay. It's okay. You're going to be okay.
Is it okay? Are you sure that
Right
it's okay?
now-
Because I'm not. I'm really
Right
not.
now, in the second in this tent, it's okay. Maybe not later, maybe not forever, but right now. Just breathe. And keep breathing.
There's a person in the past 2 dreams that I've had that keeps telling me that I need to see things. And that in order to survive, I need to watch what's happening. And there was a puppet show, and it was a lot like what we're doing right now, and it involved a lot of disemboweling and heads falling off. Something about the good gardener. I don't really remember. I don't think I want to sleep anymore. Is it morning? Is it morning?
As Edith says the good gardener, Esmera says it at the exact same time.
I don't know why I said that.
Great. Okay. That's fine. That's okay.
All right, let's get you up. I have a new set of clothes laid out for you, all fresh. I'll leave you to get changed. We'll take out some rations that we have. We're gonna be okay.
Okay.
We're going to start backing up the camp while Edith calms down a little bit and has a meal with Delphi.
Makes sense. Yep, the sailors will assist in this. And one of them, a young guy named Harry, will kind of lean over and be like, Is Miss Edith all right? She was crying. I mean, obviously no one's all right. This is all very strange, but...
This island is dangerous to us. We just have to stick together. Get off of it as soon as we can. And if anyone starts acting strangely, you need to tell us.
Right. I'll let the boys know. Okay. And he nods, sort of heads back over to the group of sailors who are busy packing down the rest of the tents.
I will mention that any rations that Edith might be given, if they have sunflower seeds in them, she's not touching it.
I'm going to assume no. I don't reckon you guys brought sunflower seeds with you. But yeah, once everything's packed up, Edith's eaten, changed. The rest of you have had what you're going to eat for the morning. What's the plan? Where are you headed?
We need to head back to the ship.
Yeah. So stepping onto that same copper-tiled road, again, the plants don't even fall onto the side of it. Like, there isn't a single leaf dropped onto this copper. The strange thing is that as you guys sort of see the pictograms as you're walking along, both Edith and Esmira, every time you see that sunflower head, your brain automatically turns it into the phrase, the good gardener. Like, it's as if there is just this one pictogram that you're like, I know what that word is. Like seeing a single English word in a line of text that's written in a different language. But you're like, I know what that is.
Yeah. Esmira is keeping her eye on the jungle as we go. But it's the concern now is, okay, we need to get off the island. We'll deal with the rest later.
Absolutely. So headed back to the beach, it takes you guys about 45 minutes because you're moving a little bit more slowly, a bit more carefully, keeping an eye on everything around you. When you get back to the beach, it's absolutely strewn in kelp. Thick green kelp. And there is no sign of your boat.
That's a really bad sign. That's not good.
Could I get a sight check from everyone?
Sure.
Nat 20. So 26.
Nat 20. All right. Which means Esmira is the first one to spot the site of your ship. So you can see the ship. It's still, like, it's just far enough away that you could, like, semaphore to it, but it's not close enough unless you were, like, a very industrious swimmer. Like, it's just on the edge of where the bay is, where the bay meets the ocean. The other thing Esmira will catch sight of is your boat. Under the water, wrapped in kelp. Maybe 2 meters off from the shore. Easily swimmable.
Fuck. How much do we trust the kelp on this island?
0%. I trust it 0%.
Looks at the sailors. I don't suppose you have a radio.
Sorry, miss, no. We sort of were just expecting an overnight stay and then taking the narrow boat back, and he sort of rubs under his nose and looks at the empty bit of beach and is like, but I guess that won't be happening. Look, and he turns to Delphi and he goes, Miss Delphi, am I right in assuming you're the sort of lady who carries a compact mirror with you?
Of course, everywhere.
May I borrow your mirror?
Sure. She'll pull the one out she has and she'll hand it over. Because she also got ready, so she has the...
She has the full look, yeah. You guys took half an hour for Delphi to finish her makeup.
But she looks fabulous.
She just has really good setting spray.
In this humidity? So he heads over to one of the older sailors, shows him the mirror, and the older guy nods, and then takes a step up onto that short little rocky cliff, begins to catch the sun in the mirror and flick it back and forth, signaling the boat. And the younger guy will come back and he goes, we're just letting them know that the boat, something happened to the boat. What else should we pass? I don't know how to say the jungle got big, really, without sounding like a crazy person.
Maybe just a simple send, go get help.
or come get us? There needs to be a second boat.
I don't. What do you see out there? What is keeping us from getting to the boat?
The lack of our boat.
Where is our boat?
Underwater.
Why is it underwater?
We don't know.
Do you see anything to do with it underwater?
Would you rather stay on this island for a couple more
Please
days?
answer the question.
Delphi,
Yeah.
we both know that we can't stay on this island.
Okay. Let me rephrase what I'm saying. If there is a reason that the boat that we were supposed to take back to the ship is not there, it is probably not safe for the other ship to come to shore or to send another boat.
We don't have enough water to survive being on this island more than a few days. We cannot wait here for them to go get help. We flew here for a reason. It's going to take weeks for help to get back here.
Okay. I think you're missing the point. Just
Luke will step up next to you, Esmira, and goes,
You cut out?
look, I'm going to be honest with you. I think you got points. Esmira,
Rand,
considering how high the humidity is here,
everything glitched out, froze. You're back now, but we couldn't catch any of it.
Okay. All right. So I was just going to say, as you guys are sort of having this argument, Luke steps up next to Esmira and says, the humidity being how high it is, surely we could try and set up some sort of, where you have the fire and the water. Like, we can purify some water. I'd be more concerned with food.
Also true.
Unless you think that we should try and dive down and grab that boat that's down there, but that looks like a trap to me.
That's
And he
definitely
will-
a trap.
Point at the boat.
Whatever's keeping us here is smart enough to catch an entire submarine full of people.
And he will just put a reassuring hand on your back, but doesn't say anything because he doesn't have anything to say. You've got a good point.
Delphi will take a second and we'll take a breath and then just, well, from here on out, I will leave all the decision making to you. I will leave my head blissfully empty. Please give me your wisdom. What do you think we should do next?
Oh, Delphi's pissed.
Literally just looks at you for a second and turns away from you and carries on talking to everyone else.
Upset with each other is really wise at the moment, considering that it is us against this entire island. Maybe if we could try not to fight, I would appreciate it.
Oh, I'm genuinely not upset. Oh, no, that was genuine. I'm sorry if it came off as otherwise. I legitimately. No thoughts.
Okay.
Are the sailors getting any light reflections back?
Yes, they are. It's very slow going, though, in the way that Morse code is. The older guy, and he's got someone sitting next to him with like a pad of paper, and the older guy's being like, S, and the other guy's like writing down the letters as they come. But after a few minutes, the older man, who you'll know is called Theo, will say, right, well, from what they've said out there, their motor's completely fouled with that same kelp. It's all over the place here. right strange though. I've only seen this stuff up in the far north, North Sea kelp. It's thick, very strong. They're probably going to be trying to unwind that for quite some time. As for what to do from here, I mean, if there was one wrecked group, maybe if we could get some height, we could try and see if there's anyone else here. I mean, you ladies are really in charge, so what do you think we should do?
I think the safest thing for us would be to stay here until the boat's ready. Things changed overnight. We don't know if they're going to change again.
Well, fair enough. If you think that the best thing to do is just sit and wait, we can just sit and wait, but temperature's only going to get hotter. We only have supplies for about 2 days. I'm not sure sitting and waiting is going to lead to us living much longer than that.
If we just sit around, something's gonna come to get us. I know it. I know something's gonna come get us.
Look, no matter what, we need a safe point. So if some of us go and maybe we can find a bit of you, have a look at, see if there's any other resources. Maybe we'll find some food sources while the rest stay here and make camp.
Anywhere here is safe. I don't. I mean, from what I understand, the good gardener is everywhere, and he's running everything.
So if you've got the strongest connection to him, where do you think we should go?
And as Edith says, the good gardener, as Mira says it at the same time.
That's terrifying. That's really scary. Why do you keep doing that?
Something's getting into our heads.
Great. Okay. What were you saying? I'm so sorry, Esmira. While my brain is still holding in one piece.
You seem to have the strongest connection. Where do you think we should go?
I don't know. I don't. I really don't. All I've really gotten are threats. I've gotten lots and lots of threats.
Look, if we're going to go back in the jungle, I don't think it's good to go with everybody.
I don't really think it's wise for anyone to go alone. Or even as in a small group. There's strength in numbers for a reason.
If we split half and half, the sailors could stay here. The rest of us could go look for food.
I don't want the sailors to be left behind either. I think if we go anywhere, we need to go all together.
Well, the next question is where we're going to go.
At the expense of offering another idea, if kelp is dangerous and forest is dangerous, and we're on the border of both kelp and forest at the moment, we could venture back to the clearing that had, the large pyramid of Chimes, which at the very least leaves us only at the edge of one potential threat. And we know the way to get back here. It doesn't take ages. I don't think it would be a good idea to split everyone up, or anyone up, personally. We don't know if one group may get lost, or something may happen to one group and then the other group has to go looking for them. It could end very poorly. Our best bet might be to stick to the thing that's kept us safest thus far.
Look, we've got to decide to do something. We're losing daylight.
All right, I'm gonna go back to the clearing. anyone who wants to can come with me. Goodbye.
Okay.
Give me a charm roll, please.
Sure.
I'm just picturing this line of sailors following Delphi.
It's a nat 20 for a 23.
Okay, so all of the NPCs, even Luke, like, kind of looks over towards Delphi and is like, she's got a point.
We're going back to the clearing. Even I think it's a good idea. Delphi, you are so charming. I'm just like, you know what? I'm being full of shit. She's actually right. This is a great idea.
I'm so sorry.
I was mean to Delphi. What was I
Okay. So another 45 minutes up the path, you come back to that clearing. You've got the two, and this is the first time you feel like you're seeing it in the way that it's sort of meant to be seen. So there's the copper tile road slowly turns into a white brick road. Like, some of the copper tiles get replaced by white stone until the last part that leads between the two reflecting pools up to the shrine is purely white brick, covered in those strange sunflower glyphs. Every so often along the path, there sits a tall, like, metal gardening stake with wire wrapped around it at about the midpoint. As if it's meant to have something fixed to it, like a tree or a vine, but there's nothing stuck to the stake. They're about 6 feet tall, each one of these stakes. You pass about 10 of them on your way up the road. You wouldn't have seen them the first time you came around just because of the wiltedness of the jungle. When you were coming back, you were far more focused on just, like, making sure you didn't get attacked by something. So this feels like the first, like, proper view you've had of the pyramid, these strange stakes, the road all on itself. So approaching the spire from the south reveals a beautiful white promenade leading up to a tall spire flanked by two reflecting pools filled with lush lotuses that appear to be sprouting out of fresh blood. The water has been stirred up in some way. So the spire itself spears up with these sort of strange seated people facing it in a long, unbroken line that circles the base. On closer inspection, these statues are human. They're seated facing this sort of stepped pyramid spire thing. Would you like to get a closer look at the statues? Are you just setting up camp in the clearing and ignoring the spire? What's the plan?
Stay away from the lotus pool. That's the plan.
Okay.
I'll take a look at things. The people,
Yeah.
statue things.
Great. Give me a sight check, please.
Oh, right. I'm shit at those.
Are the lotus pools on either side, or?
Yes. Yeah. So sort of flanking the road.
It's a 7.
Even with a 7, these statues are very worn, but you can tell their expressions. You're not sure if they're crying or laughing, but they're, like, very stretched. Like, the features are stretched with their mouths open, but you can't tell if it's a happy or a sad expression with that sort of a roll. And yeah, seeing their faces, you're unsure whether they're overjoyed or terrified of the structure that's in front of them. It's one or the other, but just with that low of a roll, you can't tell. They appear to be made of a heavy old metal that's gone black with age, similar to a very old bronze statue. Some of them appear to be missing, like, digits or arms, or, like, they're molded in some way. Like, some of them have no nose, some of them have no ears, some of them are missing their eyes, but they're, like, purposely carved that way.
Well, that's fun.
Hey, so Edith would be going with Delphi because I think she's the one that she trusts the most right now. So could I try to help with looking over?
Yeah, sure. Give me a sight check.
By any chance, are you, like, education based on, like, the different schooling that I've gotten? If there were any sort of, like, art, sculpture classes.
I don't
history
think that's
classes.
relevant here.
That's okay. I'll do my best. That's a dirty 20, not a natural 20, just a dirty 20.
30-20. All right, so the spire itself is decorated with sunflowers, eyes, and decapitated, like just hands that have been cut off from the limbs. They're sort of all patterned around it in these different tiers, but they're the most omnipresent decorations. There are different things every so often. And you can tell that those arms that arch back around it, there is a statue on the far side of the spire. Like, you'd have to circle the base to see what it's of, though.
Yeah, I'm going to point that out, and I'm going to attribute it and match it up to the sunflowers and shit that I dreamed about. As well as the fact that, for some reason, every single time I see a sunflower now, probably just because I'm freaked out about my dream, that's definitely what it is. That's all it is. That I'm attributing it to the good gardener.
Okay. Little freaky, little morbid. Kind of
Losing my mind, am I?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
Okay.
It's kind of cool.
Okay. I just want to make sure that, you know, it's a normal thing that, you know, I mean, this isn't a normal, it's a normal response to what's happening here, right? I'm not just going crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey.
Any response is probably a normal response in this scenario. How you respond to things is totally fine. And she'll like kind of cup your face and give your forehead a little kiss and just, we're okay. We've got this.
Just out of interest, what does Delphi's perfume smell like?
Her perfume smells of vanilla mainly, but also subtly of like bluebells.
Okay. So for a moment you feel like a little reassured because there's a scent that isn't like strongly floral. Honestly, like that is the most reassuring thing about this interaction, is for a moment you are not smelling flowers, jungle, greenery. Honestly, Edith.
I'm gonna hug her. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna soak in this reassurance as much as I can. I'm gonna make sure that I can smell just the vanilla perfume. That's just have something in that moment to just reassure me for a second that the jungle is not everything. With that sense of doom that has been creeping into her like gut for the past few hours.
She's gonna make an executive
Delphi,
decision.
could I get a gut feeling, please?
Sure. Can I do something while I'm feeling things with my gut?
Probably.
Are you feeling other things?
The thing she was gonna do while I roll this is she was going to essentially hop up onto Edith's lap to like really envelop her in this hug to make sure she's like, okay, there's pressure, there's safety, you're good. Also, there's a 22.
22, and then a discipline, please.
Okay.
Listen, she's getting a hug from some big titties. Can she have any sort of advantage? Is that how that works?
This moment so much.
Well, it might be about to get worse because that was a nat 1 for a total of 4.
On the discipline check. Amazing. So once we've resolved this, we're going to go on our break. But first, it's time to scar you a little bit more. So Delphi leans back from, like, she's hopped up on Edith's lap, giving her this big hug, leans back, cups Edith's cheek, and then says, in a very normal voice,
so sorry.
goes, "It grows. The dancer waits inside the tower to make you weep with joy. The only way we're getting out of here is through it." And then she leans forward, kisses you on the forehead, and Edith, you're like, "What the fuck?" And Delphi, you snap back into like cognition, into understanding what's going on, with your lips pressed to Edith's forehead, as I assume Edith starts crying. Is that about right? Yeah.
Can you repeat exactly what was said so I can write that shit down? I couldn't
Sure.
quite understand it in my
So
horror
first-
and shock.
First she says, it grows. Then, the dancer waits inside the tower to make you weep with joy. The only way we're getting out of here is through it.
I think Delphi agrees with herself, but that's besides the point.
And on that note, we're going to go for our break. We'll be back in 15 minutes. I hope everyone's having a good
That
time.
was such an awkward pause. I apologize. I was scribbling like a fiend.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. So when we left, I hope you all got yourself a drink and stretch your legs. When we left off, Delphi had just said a bunch of horrific things to Edith in her time of being emotionally sensitive. Esmera and Delphi had just had a little argument about how they should handle dealing with all of the horrors of the island, and you guys had returned back to the foot of the White Shrine and have begun to investigate what this thing actually is.
After Delphi says all of the things and gives the little forehead kiss and comes back to herself, she kind of sits with her lips pressed against Edith's forehead for a second, eyes open, just kind of thinking, shit. And she doesn't know what to do, so she kind of slowly pulls back, gives Edith's face a little pat, kind of wipes the tears, and just, I'm sorry.
She's not gonna say anything. She's just in her moment of fucking horror. Is instead just going to put her head down and just hug onto Delphi tighter. just hoping to God she doesn't say anything else.
Mouth shut for the remainder of the hug. That's...
I don't want to go inside. Part of the dream I had was a bunch of puppets dancing, and then the good gardener dancing around them and ripping their guts out.
From a distance, you just hear Esmera say, in the middle of a different conversation with Luke, you just hear the good
Don't
gardener.
say it!
He's a good gardener. And looks at the two of you and is like, looks at you, I'll be right back, and walks over. Did you just...
Saying the sunflower guy. That's all.
This is getting
However,
concerning.
at the same time that Esmera and Edith say the good gardener, Delphi instead says the dancer.
No, we're saying sunflower guy now. We're saying sunflower guy. Anytime we're gonna mention anything, we're saying sunflower guy now. Does that make sense? Does everything sound good?
Place is Weirdsville. Nothing makes sense.
Okay,
Well-
that's gonna be our code word. Cool.
We might have to go in there. If what I said is true.
How big is this thing around the base?
You haven't walked around it, so you're not too certain yet.
Before we go in, should we take a look around, see what's on the other side? Or should we just go to the top and look down from the top?
Round? Wait.
Look, Edith, it might be easier for us to go around before we try and go up.
Sure. I'm just following you all.
And kind of we'll turn around, kind of wave somebody's attention, and then make a gesture like we're going to go around to have a look.
Yeah, so the man who you guys spoke to before was like, wow, dames, not in skirts. That guy gives you a thumbs up, lights a cigarette, and sort of heads over to keep an eye out from like a slightly more oblique angle, so you're not completely out of sight of the camp.
Wow, Dame's not in skirts.
Love that guy.
Remember the first episode, guys?
It's there.
Love that
Your
guy.
official t-shirt.
It's not in skirts. That's our band
Wow,
name.
Dame's not in skirts, and then on the back is gonna say Nerdsmith, the Copper Pyramid.
Oh, I'm
And then
campaigning for a pair of
Stream
booty
dates.
shorts that say "it grows" on the back.
Yes. Yes.
It should say it grows on the front. I'll be honest with you.
No, the tower should be on the
Okay.
front. It grows on the back.
Okay, so you guys are headed around the side of the pyramid. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So as you walk, you realize that this is about 60 meters across. Like the diameter is 60 meters. It's roughly square shaped, but with sort of rounded edges. So there isn't like an obvious front to it. In fact, the front is on one of the vertices, so on the edge, rather than on one of the flat sides of it. When you get round to the back, however, you see. Okay, well, everyone make a discipline check.
Okay.
18.
18,
Dirty 20.
dirty 20.
27.
All right, you're all doing fine today. You guys are like, we are scarred enough. So you guys see the figure of a man, the size of a colossus, like the same height as this tower. He's muscled. He's wearing like a loincloth around his hips. Pretty ripped, honestly. Like he's fairly muscled, very lean. Again, made of that same white stone. But he doesn't have a head. Instead, there is a bloody stump, and sprouting from that bloody stump is the head of a sunflower, with these glossy green leaves that sort of splay over the shoulders. And the sunflower is very much positioned like a human head, looking forwards. And I do actually have an image of this, if we could get that one
Oh,
popped in.
Oh, yeah.
great.
And Edith, you realize that this is the image that you were trying to make sense of in your dream. I mean, it's not exactly the same, because the version you saw of it was a lot less gory, but it's the same person.
That's it. That's the sunflower guy. Great. That's what was disemboweling the other puppets. This is great. This is so great.
Okay, well, we don't have to go inside.
Fine, if we're gonna survive, that is what possessed Delphi said.
I over towards Esmera.
Like, let's just... You have said a trigger word for Esmera. And for the first time, and Esmera kind of leans in very close to Delphi and stares into your pupils. And is like, what do you mean possessed?
Same way that you've been saying things. I don't think you've been meaning to say the sunflower guy. Whenever I say the name of the sunflower guy, or the way that she's been saying the dance, she just said more words, and it was terrifying.
What did you say?
Well, the general idea is that in order to get out of here alive, we had to go in. And I'm almost inclined to agree with myself.
Specifically, what Delphi said was that it grows and that the dance awaits inside the tower to make you weep with joy, and the only way we're getting out is through it. So that's going to be burned into my head for the rest of my life.
Therapy's great.
Considering that's what I saw. I've been going to therapy, I promise. I don't know if it's going to fix this.
Yeah. No, multiple things. Yeah, that's gonna be harder. Well, the way I'm looking at it is if the boat's not going to be ready for a while, and I've already checked in that dead guy's stomach, I'm not sure anything is edible on this island. At least not, the traditional term of edible where you could eat it and live. And then also potentially running out of water.
Let's go into the pyramid.
Let's go back to camp, let everyone know, get everyone together.
Then we can all go into the creepy, terrible pyramid.
This'll be great. It'll be great. Maybe it'll have mood lighting. Maybe...
Do you want to know what the worst thing is? Is I think that technically, based on what we've found, the only thing that's edible on this island is us. So,
well,
that's great.
Actually, yes, humans are edible to other humans, just so long as you avoid certain parts of the brain and the spinal column, because that can actually make you very sick.
From a faint distance, you hear Dr. Dazai call out, "Do you want kuru? Because that is how you get kuru."
I'm saying there are parts of people you can eat and be fine. There are other parts you have to avoid. It's like preparing puffer fish. Just do it right.
And you see him shake his head and go back to what he was doing.
You seem way too familiar with this conversation.
Well, I literally dissect dead people for a living. You're
a mortician, right?
Yeah, I do mortuary services and taxidermy, and I'm a doctor in training.
Before I've done that. That's normal. That sort of conversation is normal for morticians.
Yeah.
My
That's more the
dog
eating
moved
people side.
behind me, and it scared the shit out of me.
It's more concern for the eating people. Hopefully we won't get to that.
As you guys head back around to the front of this spire, could I get a hearing check from everybody?
Watch. 1. Total for 7. No.
Okay.
Total for 5, I think. Double check. Not that it matters. Yeah, 5 in total with a nat 1.
Mm-hmm.
Natural 20, which makes it a 23.
Oh, excellent.
13. I'll just chill between y'all.
You're too busy giving me backgrounds. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're getting forehead kisses, the tears are being wiped away, there's little hugs. You're important. And then also making sure no one's walking off.
So,
Hey.
remind me at the end of session that you found one of the tap codes, so I will send that to you at end of session. Those of you who got ones, I think it's because as you're heading around, you see the sailor from before, Mike, talking to someone else. He's like, "Hachi Machi, for a second there, I thought those ladies were gonna kiss." And you're like, just really loudly, so you don't catch the quieter sound that Edith does.
Hachi Machi.
It's 1954, guys. Hachi Machi.
Hachi Machi. For a second there, I thought those ladies.
That's the second t-shirt.
Everything Mike
Give me the
says will
tap
be
code. I can figure it out
immortalized.
in the next 3 minutes. Give it to me. I can do it.
All right, so coming around, looking at the base of these stairs, they're quite narrow, quite tall stairs, maybe the width of a foot, rather than a foot, the measurement, an actual foot, the width of it, per step. But next to it, you see a strange-looking contraption, which appears to be a chain wrapped around a winch that seems to run up and down the pyramid. And the young English guy, Harry, who asked if Edith was okay earlier, is messing around with the winch. And when he sees you approaching, he goes, "Oh, hi, yeah, I thought that, it looks like there's some sort of platform that can be moved down. I thought maybe that would be more sensible for you, Miss Edith, considering. It looks like there are a lot of steps if you guys are planning on heading up there to get a better look at the island or anything."
I appreciate you looking out for me. Thank you.
And he gives you a smile, and continues to mess around with the winch. And you can see a small stone platform that is set into a set of rails that is being slowly drawn down by this chain as he pulls it hand over hand.
Well, that's a lucky break.
See? Good things. Happy things. Doing great.
Happy that we get to go inside this thing.
It's okay.
And Luke.
We're going to get through this.
Luke very helpfully goes, yeah, it's an accessible murder pyramid.
You're not helping.
I think I'm helping a lot. And
Anything else?
And Ismira will kind of like elbow him a little bit, going, she's freaked out.
okay, yeah, all right, she's freaked out. I mean, we're all freaked out. But, yep.
Prophetic dreams. I'm a reporter. I shouldn't have prophetic dreams. That's not what I signed up for. I came here to write a story. And that's it. Legitimately nothing else. I'm not even here for the money. I just wanted to know. I don't want to know anymore.
At first, Delphi was going to say that prophetic dreams might actually be a very good thing for a reporter, and actually very lucrative. She then thinks better of it in this particular moment, and instead just gives a little bit of a squeeze.
Think of the kind of story you'll be able to write when we get off this rock.
When is good? When is a good word? That's
Let's
a
stick
really
to
nice
when.
word. I think that's my favorite word right now.
Look, we're all alive. We're all okay. It's gonna be fine.
I agree with Esmira. Esmira has a point.
Mira is lying.
I don't care.
I love that we have optimism and pessimism going on over here.
Delphi is like an optimistic nihilist. Everything sucks, and you know what? We might all die, but also, we might not.
Best part is
I
Mira is a
love that.
pessimistic nihilist. Everything sucks, and we're probably gonna die, but we still have to deal with it and get on with it.
Okay, so with that in mind, are we climbing the shrine?
Yeah, climbing.
Not alone.
Okay.
I don't.
Are
So I think Dick will step forward and be like, right, so we're going up to the top of that shrine. This is definitely my normal voice. We're going up to the top of that shrine, right? I feel like maybe we should leave most of our companions down here. I don't know how big that room at the top is. I'm so bad at American accents. I'm so sorry.
I love that it was like
You did great.
kind of country, but like with a little bit of Brooklyn.
No, I don't know how you speak.
It was perfectly
It was perfect. Yeah,
For Dick, it was perfect. Because it
Dick
makes
doesn't
sense.
fucking know either.
I'll expect it. I'll take that. I'll take that
But-
victory.
Delphi will. Right. That makes sense. We should do a sound test when we're up there, to see if we can hear anything from down here, and if you guys can hear anything from us up there. Just, in case.
And Dazai will pass you a smaller, like, little rucksack. And he goes, I've just packed a small first aid kit in case anything, somebody trips or slips, just so you've got something on you. And he'll just sort of lean over and give you a gentle pat on the head.
Thank you. Hopefully we won't need it.
I certainly hope so. Don't eat anybody. It's how you get Kuri.
I'm not planning on it, I'm just saying it's possible.
We've had words about this before, Delphinia.
Mira's just having a, see, now I'm more concerned about you. The look on the face is as soon as he's like, he knows you, and he said it.
I'll see you when we get back. You stay safe down here.
I'll endeavor to do my best, and he will lean down so you can pat him on the head as well.
Look at that pat. And you don't eat anyone either. And feeling accomplished, she'll leave.
So yeah, one of the sailors, Harry, the guy with the vaguely UK accent, will volunteer to go up to the top to help pull the like little sled up, because it sort of isn't fully rotation. Like, he can't pull it up from the bottom, but he'll volunteer to go up and pull it up so that Delphi and Esmira don't have to.
Okay. I'll give a shoulder bump to Luke and just be like, don't die.
Stand back at you. At least I've got a gun.
Oh yeah, when your bullets run out, that'll be real helpful.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing if it hurts when I shoot a tree. Do you think these things bleed?
God, I hope not. And head on up.
Yeah. So it's a tall, slow climb for those of you who are climbing. Edith, you're left in that really awkward position where you can see everyone else doing something. You're like, I'll just wait here until I can get there as well. Look, good luck, guys.
It's really stupid and really cheesy. Every little bit, Delphi's turning, waving. Another little bit, turning, waving.
Every time you turn, I'm like staying right.
I love her so much.
Right behind you, so that in case you tip over, you just be like.
Yeah, it's a
alive.
It's a very narrow staircase, like almost think the width of like a regular inside a house staircase.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the fact that it is on this massive, like almost conical structure. Like, by all rights, they should have made it wider. They did not. It's really only for like maybe one person, two people, if they were like really close to each other to go up at a time. And it takes you guys about half an hour to climb it, and then another 10 minutes of Harry, I assume with Esmira's help, pulling up that little sled to get Edith up to the top as well. Once you're up at the top, you can see, first of all, you are at the same height as the canopy. You can look around and it seems like unbroken green for a very far distance. I'll get a sight check from everybody.
$22.
22.
15.
15.
7.
And so Delphi is distracted by something. Edith, yeah,
It's
mostly
me.
you see this unbroken greenery, but you can see a tall pillar of smoke to the north, sort of coming from inside the jungle. You can't tell what it is exactly, but there is like oily black smoke rising from the jungle. Esmira, you get an even better view of this. So there is this column of black oily smoke rising from the north. There is a massive pyramid sticking out of the center of this jungle made of copper. And then in the far north, you can see a black spire, much like this white one, of about the same height, coming out of near those cliffs that you guys saw from the boat.
Okay.
So it seems like there are three
black
main
one.
structures. The white one you guys are on, the black one at the far north, sort of northeast, the copper pyramid, which is in the center, and then the strange black smoke that is rising from sort of the middle of the island.
When we saw the hieroglyphics, you said that the symbols, there was an empty, the empty oval, the empty, I think it's a cartouche.
Yes.
There was the
And
sunflower, and what was the third one?
a fish hook.
Okay. So I'll relate what I'm seeing to that. I'll be like, okay, there's 2 more pyramids at least. Something's burning. Black smoke is usually from burning man-made objects.
I'm sorry, there's a ferret in my sock.
Now we know why Delphi was distracted. Where's the column of smoke close to?
You would guess is closest to the copper pyramid. but it's a decent way off. It seems sort of equidistant from all three structures.
Well, if we can't find anything here, we might have to head in deeper.
Sense. Any ideas of where first?
We got here. Let's have a look at this place first.
Well, granted.
Then I would suggest we maybe have a look at that black smoke. It might be our mysterious shooter. But it might be another person at least.
Makes sense. Yeah. So I guess we can keep exploring here for now. It's kind of nice so far.
There's a lot more
Yeah.
breeze this high up, so the heat isn't quite as bad.
Yeah, but honestly, under other circumstances, would be a great place for a picnic. I mean, it's a lovely view.
Okay, so who's stepping in through the door
I'll go.
first?
I'll go in the door first.
Okay. So stepping in, it's a small room, maybe 1.5 meters each way. So sort of place you could only fit sort of 3 to 5 people in. Small room with 3 statuettes set there. 3 sets of items that are clearly meant to be held in the statuettes' cupped hands. And the walls are a plain white stone, exactly the same as this structure itself. The stone sparkles slightly in the sunlight, something like nephrite or stone that has like quartz flecks in it, so it's very pretty. The tiles on the floor are 7-sided, but somehow they seem to tessellate perfectly. Could I get an education check from you, please, Esmera?
This is not going to be the best. Oh wow. Never mind. 22.
22, great. Give me a discipline save.
23.
23. So you look at these tiles, you're like, that's not how geometry works, and then you go, but I'm not going to let it bother me. I've seen weirder stuff today.
It's not trying to eat us.
Actively, no. So the statuettes are identical, save for their clothing. One wears black, one wears white, and the other wears green. There are 3 places for the statuettes to be placed, and the 3 sacraments that they can carry are a sunflower seed, a fish hook, and a decorated cloak. And you can see that above these statuettes there is something carved in so Esmera's native language is Spanish, right?
Yes.
You see this and you're like, those are pictographs, but at the same time your brain goes, that's Spanish, so you can read it perfectly. So it says, 3 men stand before the pyramid in prayer. One wears black, one wears white, one wears green. Each man is consecrated to a different god: the Hook Lady, the Sunflower Man, and the King who sleeps. One of them carries the seed of Wong Kem Bang, another carries the line of Nalayan Pangalon, and another wears the raiment of the king. So there's then a set of some more clues there, but you get the idea that you're meant to put the right thing in one of the statuette's hands and put them in the right place.
Are the things in the room or?
Yes, so there are these 3 things, what looks like a giant sunflower seed, a fish hook, and a decorated cloak. And you can see a sealed door behind this little dais that they're all set up in.
So we might have to open that door. And
Let me know when you guys want the rest of the clues and I'll read them out for you.
Esmera will kind of walk in deep enough for the others to follow in as well.
Mm-hmm.
And head over towards, you said it was a giant seed, a hook, and the cloak.
Yes.
I'll head over to look at the cloak.
Mm-hmm. So it's not life size. It's sort of made to fit on a statue that's about this big. And as soon as Edith steps in, Edith, you are struck by the similarity that these statuettes have to the puppets that you saw in your dream. So the cloak seems to be made of like many leaves sewn together to sort of create like a layered cloak.
3 statues, 3 items, and a sealed door.
And like 3 places they can be placed. There are like obvious niches for them to be put in. As I said, there are more clues for me to read to you. I will just point out for our other 2 characters, so to Edith and to Delphi, there's just a series of nonsensical pictograms over the top of this. So you heard Elmira sort of muttering to herself in a language you guys can understand, but you can't see anything that she could have been reading.
What were you reading from earlier?
Oh, there. And she just points up to the top. Someone must have carved it there. Maybe someone from the sub? I don't know.
I don't think. You know what? I don't know what languages are commonly practiced today, I suppose, in all parts of the world. I don't know if pictographs are one of them.
It's Spanish.
It's not.
And Esmera looks up and literally starts reading it again in Spanish.
Yeah. Very clearly Spanish. You guys, it is very clearly not Spanish. And when she reads it aloud, it sounds like she's reading it in English, even though you can see her lips aren't moving with the right cadence for it to be English.
So
I hate this. This is terrible.
You're reading pictographs in Spanish that sound to me like English.
How high up is this pictograph carving? Like, can I reach up and touch it?
Not quite, but you know, look, Harry will often give you a boost if you're like, I want to reach up and touch it.
Like, I asked Harry to boost me, and then I want to not, without looking, feel. Does it feel like words or does it feel like pictures?
It feels like pictures.
Okay, you can put me down again.
All right.
So we already know they're in our heads, or whatever it is in our heads.
Yay.
Okay, so three statues, 3 items. What else is there? Let's look around for other clues.
Would you like me to read you the rest of the writing?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, it starts with 3 men stand before the pyramid in prayer. 1 wears black, 1 wears white, and 1 wears green. Each man is consecrated to a different god. The Hook Lady, the Sunflower Man, and the King who sleeps. One of them carries the seed of Wonkambang, another the line of Nalayan Pangalon, and another wears the raiment of the king. The Hook Lady and the Sunflower Man are separate and distinct, and their consecrated men refuse to stand next to each other. The king who sleeps wears green. The Sunflower Man does not use his sister's sacrament. The white-wearing man carries the king's raiment. The king who sleeps stands to the left of the Sunflower Man. The black-wearing man is on the far left. So you need to give me the order of the sacrifices, the order of the consecrations from right to left, and the order of the sacraments.
Can you? Is it possible for you to just drop that text into chat?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
Perfect. You're brilliant.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty. Sorry, there's pictures in the chat box, and I got distracted.
I feel that.
Are you dropping it into Copper Pyramid?
I will as soon as my iPad lets me select all of the things that I need to and not give you the answer.
No stress.
It's just being like, you wanted to select all of this? I'm like, no, not all of this, just this bit.
Almost. Not quite.
Yeah. That would be a bit of a letdown if I just...
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry for this. I need glasses.
No, fair enough. So if while a couple of you work on that, anyone wants to examine the rest of the room in more detail?
I'll go ahead and do that.
Just so we're not... Yeah, sure. How would you like to examine it? You've got sight, you've got scent, you've got hearing.
Scent and hearing mainly.
Yeah, sure. Which do you want to do first?
I am going to go with hearing first.
Mhm.
I'm going to give that a roll. If it'll roll. And that 20 for 23.
Oh, excellent. Give me a discipline check.
I can do that. It's not rolling. Hold on, let me refresh the page.
Oh, good.
Here we go. Okay, that's not terrible. 21 total, did not nat 20.
21 total. Okay. So you get to write down your first witness. And your first witness is the hunting party. You can hear from a distance, first the sound of laughter and the sound of people running. It sounds like people running up a flight of steps. And more than that, you don't recognize all of the voices you hear, but there's a woman's voice, two women's voices, and two men's voices in this group of people who are coming. And you have this very strange feeling that you vaguely recognize one of the men's voices, but you can't tell where from.
Do I know the direction it's coming from? Is it...
It sounds like it's coming from above you, but you're at the top of the pyramid.
I'm just gonna look up.
Yeah. Intricately carved ceiling. No, trapdoors, nothing like that.
Gonna step out of the room.
Yeah.
And look up.
Yeah, you're back out in the sunshine. Harry, who is sitting on the top of the step, and sort of waving down at the guys far deeper down, looks over at you as you come out and gives you a nod. Looking up, give me another sight check.
Nine.
There's nothing there, but also the sound has cut off.
Yeah, step
you can't
back
hear
inside
it anymore.
the room.
You can hear it again.
I'm gonna step out of the room.
Nothing.
She's just, for a little while, since she can't see anything, it's just step, step, step. And I go look over to Harry, as she's doing this. Hey, you heard any hunting parties recently?
No, sorry, I don't. Are you okay? Do you need a cigarette? Are you alright? And he'll offer his little silver cigarette case towards you.
I appreciate it. It makes me smell funky. I don't like it, but good to know.
Fair enough.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
And we'll step back into the room. So it sounds like there's a hunting party. I can't see it. And it's only in this room. But... is it particularly loud? Or is it
No, it sounds like it's coming from very far away.
Okay, I thought so. Well, it's not overwhelmingly loud, which is a bonus. Does anyone else happen here? And then she'll realize that they're working on this puzzle, and I will talk about that later. And she's gonna go to smelling around the room and just note the hunting party for later.
So I think I've got 2 of the orders. I'm just stuck on the last part. How are you doing, Jenny?
I am actually currently working on the tab cipher, and I think the last word might have a typo in it because it doesn't make sense when I translate.
It does have a typo in it. That is not your fault.
Okay. I wanted to be sure because I did it about 6 times. I was
No,
does
that's
that make
my
sense?
fault, not yours. It should be an
No
S, not an
worries.
SA.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. I hate that. So I imagine that sorry, let me finish writing this.
a 17 to smell things, by the way.
17 smell things. There is a beautiful, faint, floral, sunny smell in the air, like very much that if you've ever walked through a field of sunflowers, but they don't have like their own specific scent, but there's sort of an absence of floral smell that makes you think of sunflowers. That kind of fresh, green, but no strong scent of itself.
So, I imagine that Edith has been like scribbling kind of in her notebook the entire time in order to make herself not go insane by the fact that we're going into a creepy ass fucking pyramid. But she puts her pen down and closes her fucking notebook really goddamn fast, and she's like, I hate this.
Hate what?
You know the tapping that we heard outside? You heard that, right? It's not just me. It wasn't just me. Anyways, it was a tap cipher. Those are used sometimes. We use them in the office whenever the boss is being particularly incorrigible to communicate with each other. So I kind of was trying to figure it out as we were going, and I remembered it was this very specific and specifically what I wrote down, and I hope that I'm wrong, is it grows. The dancer baits inside the tower to make you weep with joy. Seeds are sowed where the soil is fertile. So, that's great.
The dancer that's supposed to be our way out of here.
When
The
they
dancer
say
baits inside the tower, yeah.
when they say the dancer, does it have the same effect as when they use the other name? Or
Yes, so as Edith says the dancer, Esmira says the good gardener, and Delphi says the dancer at the same time.
I hate that. I hate this. Please don't go crazy. Please don't do that. I can't deal with that right now.
have island assigned names. Interesting. Weird. But kind of cool.
Well, look, it's talking about 3 gods. We've got 3 beings on this island, obviously. Different control. Gods, demons, spirits, there's 3 of them on this island. I think I've got this figured out. Out of character, I put a picture of what I was working on the group. But I'm not so sure about the last part. It looks to me like you're going to have the king in the middle, the sunflower man on the right, the hook lady on the left. The king's wearing green, sunflower is wearing white, hook lady's wearing black. Sunflower, this is the part I'm not sure of. The sunflower man is wearing the king's remnant, it tells us that. But I think the king who sleeps is has the seed, and the hook lady has the line. But I'm not 100% sure. The line that's throwing me is, the sunflower man does not use his sister's sacrament. So I'm presuming the sister's sacrament is the hook and the line.
Would make sense. To me, at least.
Well, let's give it a go.
All right, so the order of the sacrifices is... so what colors from right to left?
From right to left, the colors will be from right to left.
Yes.
White, green, and then black.
Okay. And the order of the gods from right to left?
Sunflower man, king, and hook lady.
And the order of the sacraments is...
The king's remnant, the giant sunflower seed, and then the line.
Okay, so who is placing the statuettes?
I'll do it.
Okay. Esmira, could you make a nimbleness check for me, please?
Oh no, I got it wrong. Oh, nice. Nat 20, so it's a total of 27.
Okay. So you put the statuettes with like the colors in the places, and you're like, that is all correct. And then you go to put the sacraments into the hands of the statuettes, and as you put them in, a series of sharp spikes emerge from the floor, and you jump back just in time before they skewer through your boots.
Okay, so I was wrong about the sacraments.
Okay, great.
I think potentially the king might have the line.
Let's try it that way around. Do the spiky bits go back in the floor, or do they stay out?
They do. They do go back.
Okay, from when they came out, can I see where to stand so I'm less likely to get skewered if this goes bad?
No, so these tiles are very, very small. They're like the size of a penny. So
Oh, this is gonna be fun. Go back and switch the line and the seed, and then jump back again.
Okay, so give me the order of the sacraments now. Right to
The
left.
sacraments, right to left will be the king's remnant, then the seed, then the line.
No.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, the
so-
line, then the seed. The remnant, then the line, then the seed.
Okay, give me another nimbleness check.
She's like, suggestion. Why?
23.
23. Okay, so you're still fine. You managed to skip back just in time as these spikes shoot out of the floor.
I think they're getting faster.
I was gonna
And then they
suggest
slowly sink back down.
we talk about it first.
Yeah, let's. So the statues are right. It seems.
The statues
God.
of the colors.
God, it seems like the
Right.
statues are correct.
Does seem that way.
So what are the two ways that you tried it? I couldn't really get a good view.
Right to left, king's remnant, then seed, then line. And then we tried it king's remnant, then line, then seed.
Are we sure we have the colors right?
Nothing happened when we put the statues down, or the colors.
Okay. Granted.
Let's look at this again.
So from right to left, it was King's Remnant, Seed, and then Line. And then King's Remnant, Line, and Seed.
Yes.
So I'll just remind you of what you have so far. The order of the sacrifices is white, green, black. The order of the consecrations is the Sunflower Man, the King, the Hook Lady.
So maybe it's the fact
We might have the actual gods wrong. Colors correct. Gods might be wrong. That we're associating them with.
but it says that the Hook Lady and the Sunflower Man are separate and distinct. Their consecrated men refuse to stand next to each other.
What if they're flipped?
So maybe the lady's on the right and the man's on the left. But it also says then the king who sleeps stands to the left of the Sunflower Man, so the Sunflower Man has to be on the right, always has to be in the middle.
So the order is probably correct as well.
I think it's the sacraments that are wrong.
Yeah.
That's the part I was struggling with as well. The Sunflower Man does not use his sister's sacrament, so the Sunflower Man cannot have the hook.
Mhm.
The white-wearing man carries the king's remnant, but the Sunflower Man is the one wearing white. So I got something very wrong because both of the other ways didn't work.
Any other hints in the room, God?
There was a hunting party. There is a hunting party.
There's a what?
There's a what?
Well, there's the noises of, a far away, distant hunting party. I didn't
Do
want
we
to
hear-
interrupt.
Do we hear anything?
Give me listening checks.
I hate this.
$22.
22?
Yeah.
Give me a discipline check.
15.
Discipline is 23.
23. Okay. So, Edith, you don't hear anything. Esmira, when Delphi points it out, you can hear it, but you don't let it bother you. Because, again, nothing has been as creepy as the sound of that jungle growing, seeing it just appear. Everything else, it's fine, you know?
Maybe it's coming from where the smoke is. Okay, so anybody want to take a stab at this puzzle?
Oh, I am.
I am really good at ciphers. I am really bad if I don't have visuals for this kind of thing.
That's what I'm doing. I'm making visuals. Wait. Never mind. It's fine. It's totally fine.
So let me simplify it down for you a little bit. The Hook Lady and the Sunflower Man cannot be standing next to each other.
Yeah.
The Sunflower Man cannot use his sister's sacrament, which you guys figured out is the hook and line.
Yeah.
The King Who Sleeps wears green. The white-wearing man carries the King's remnant. The King stands to the left of the Sunflower Man, but the black-wearing man is on the far left.
So the white-wearing man has to wear the remnant.
Yes.
And everything leads to the white-wearing man being Sunflower.
Would you like to give me your answers again? Because I'm just realizing that I didn't zoom in far enough. So let me just double check those again with me.
Okay, so the original or the second time?
The original, the whole set. So the order of the sacrifices, the order of the consecration, and then the order of the different sacrifices.
From right to left.
Yeah.
Okay, so from right to left, it's Sunflower Man, King.
No, the colors first, please.
Oh. White, green, black.
Okay, no, I definitely misread that in my notes. This is not your fault. It is a factor of me being blind. I apologize. So no, as soon as you put those statues down at that point would have been when Esmira made her first jump backwards.
Okay, so the statues are
Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to try and put the Hook Lady on Hook Lady, then King, then Sunflower Man?
And Sunflower Man would then be the color black. Well, actually, hold on. We can't do that.
So I'm
Why
so
not?
sorry. In order to get this right in my head, so the colors were right or the colors were wrong?
The colors were wrong.
The colors were wrong. Okay.
So black has to be on the left. So if the colors are wrong, that means white is in the middle. And then green is on the right. Because black has to be on the left. So
Green can't be on the right because it says the King Who Sleeps wears green. The King Who Sleeps stands to the left of the Sunflower Man.
Black has to be left.
Black is far left.
Yeah.
Yeah, so black would be on the far left, and it would
Yep.
have to be white and green if white.
Going from left to right.
Yeah, if the King Who Sleeps wears green.
Well, we've agreed the King Who Sleeps is in the middle, and he wears green.
We have to kind of throw that out.
Okay.
Because we're at the color stage again. So I'm gonna write down real quick what we absolutely know. So black is on the far left. And then do king equals green. Okay.
It is right, though. Green would have to be in the middle if it's going to keep the two of them apart.
Problem is, if it's black, green, white, from left to right, that is the order we currently have them in.
I asked for the order from right to left.
I know. So, okay. If green has to stay in the middle, what Jenny is saying, black needs to stay on the left, so our order would not change, is the problem.
Maybe when we were reading it out to God, we read it left to right by accident, considering that's how we read normal things.
No, I read it right to left. That's why I double checked. Did you say right to left? But I did start on the right.
I did follow, yeah.
Unless I have fucked this up. Give me 1 second. But I don't think I have.
I don't... Okay.
Because that locks us into two positions, so it would have to be that order.
Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, we might jump to a quick 2-minute break while Rand double checks his notes to see if he's being really stupid. Because it's very possible. My apologies to the audience and to the party. I am a queer who can't do maths. Okay.
We just had some technical issues.
Yeah, the problem existed between keyboard and chat. So the order of the sacrifices was correct. The order of the consecration was correct. It was the order of the sacraments, which was incorrect the first time. And then you did the second time. Give me the order.
The second time it was remnant, then line, then seed.
You are correct. Wow, these nightmares that your party keep having are wild. So once
one of those was an elephant.
Oh wait, never mind.
Once you've moved the puzzle into place, the doorway directly opposite the entryway that you came in opens, leading to another staircase leading down and sort of spiraling around the interior of the pyramid. On both sides of it, it is lined with these friezes of pictures. You can't exactly see what it is until you step through the door, but you can see sort of raised stone carvings of some kind.
So do we have a torch or a flashlight of some kind?
I believe that Esmera has a torch.
Okay. Click and step inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, could I get the marching order this time?
First.
I'm pulling up the rear so I can keep eyes.
Okay.
Or
Cool. I'll be in the middle.
senses.
Okay.
I'm going first so that if something tries to kill us, it tries to kill me first. Your meat shield. We must protect the throuple.
Edith is too sweet for this.
Dick will be between Edith and Delphi and having a panic attack at the fact of that.
Wait, stairs?
Okay, so, stairs, yeah. Spiral stairs.
Okay, so we're going to have to help you down.
That's what we'll say Dick is busy doing while you guys are moving down, is they are just supporting Edith as she moves.
Just make sure I don't rocket down the stairs.
Exactly. You've done that thing where you're like turned around and slightly leaned back, so you're sort of bumping down the stairs one at a time.
We're not trying to be quiet, right?
I think that's it. Ship has sailed.
Yeah, maybe a little. Stepping inside, the first thing you notice is that the air is very, first of all, it's silent and hushed. You can't hear that lung sound. But also, it's very warm in here. There are too many people breathing in too small of a space, even though you're clearly alone. immediately stepping through the doorway brings it seems like stepping into a crowd that all suddenly goes silent and turn to look at you. Some animal instinct says that you are entering a dangerous place, but there's nothing to point to as to why you think that. The staircase is shallow, but the actual ramp of it moves quite quickly. So you are needing someone to steady your handlebars, Edith, as you guys move down. Each stair brings, it seems to be like slightly less wide, and it just makes it feel very much like you're about to trip for those of you who are walking. So I'm going to ask for a nimbleness check from our walking party members.
Nat 20.
Esmira is thriving. How's Delphi doing?
Fuck up everything else, but I'm fine here.
A 5.
A 5. Okay. So right at the back, Delphi trips and sort of skins her arm against the side of the wall. You take 1 hit point of damage.
Ow. I took the first damage of the game, I think.
Nope, I got one last time at the submarine.
Right, because you got fucked up.
I got ear damage.
Yeah, your ears bled.
Little bit. No, I don't think they bled. I think I said I feel like they should be bleeding.
Like they should. Yeah.
And I need code for a second, so if everyone else could take off their headphones for a second.
Oh.
Good luck. It's terrifying.
You'll love it.
So, Delphi, your strong hearing check that you made earlier is slightly unfortunate here, as you hear the voice of a young man who you never met in life, but who you were quite familiar with in his death. Or shall we say, you never met him conscious in life. But you hear the voice that you are fairly certain belongs to Victor, as he says in your ear, "You knew I was alive, didn't you? You just wanted to know what it would be like to cut someone open before they stopped bleeding."
Oh, she like freezes, and it's just this wide-eyed moment.
You wanted me to die on your table so that you wouldn't be left looking into what everyone else had done rather than getting to experience it for yourself. Well, perhaps it's time for you to know what it is like to lie there, unable to move, as someone tears you apart to see what killed you, when in fact she's the one who killed you. So how does Delphi respond to that?
Delphi's like frozen. Her eyes are wide, and tears are just running down her face. She's shaking. She is trying to backtrack up the stairs.
Can I reach out and just kind of grab her hand?
She flinches away from
Sorry.
you.
Are you okay? What happened?
Nothing. It's just, this place.
Things rattled me
Esmera-
like that before.
So Esmera,
Oh.
you're in the lead, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so as your torch sort of plays over these stone friezes as you move down, you realize that you're looking at an image that seems incredibly out of place compared to all of these like images of the sunflower man dancing around, which is sort of what the previous friezes have been, is this like very joyous image of a larger than life person sort of gambling and leaping around and moving in this very like clownish overperformed sort of a manner while people like laugh and cheer and clap. And then you turn your torch and you instead see the image of a man lying on a table, with a basin next to his shoulder, like on a little tray cart, and a whole bunch of knives and little scalpels and different pieces of equipment that seem very like anachronistic for the way that everything else is being portrayed here. Everything else here has been sort of like people in loincloths, bows and arrows, that sort of a situation. But this is a man wearing sort of the fashion of the mid 1940s, lying on a table with his eyes wide open, just staring at you from the frieze.
I kind of move over to it and like, Delphi, Edith, come look at this.
I'm gonna look at Delphi and kind of just like try to give her a little bit of a reassuring nod. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
We can stay
I
in
could
this
not
order.
hear any of that.
Oh, I wasn't speaking until like a little bit ago. We can just
okay.
stay in this order. It's fine. It's fine.
This. Okay, you guys see someone from the 1940s in this picture, right?
So as you guys
Yes.
turn that little bit of the spiral to see what Esmer's torchlight is playing over, Edith, yeah, it's some dude from the 40s. Like, his style is slightly out of date. It's either a very old-fashioned man from today or someone from 10 to 15 years ago. Delphi, you recognize this man.
How the hell would that be carved into the wall? Are those mortician's tools?
We need
Delphi,
to
do you
keep moving.
recognize them?
I'm sure it doesn't matter. Like, everything. We have a long way to go. We should keep going.
Yeah.
Wait, what aren't you saying?
Nothing. We should keep going.
We should tell each other the
Esmera.
truth.
Could I get a
Yeah?
gut feeling from you, please?
My gut says 18.
18. As you see Edith and Delphi having this conversation just behind you, Dick, like, white-faced and silent between the two of them, suddenly you are not on a staircase. You are in a room, a small room, lit by a single, like, camping lantern, like an old-fashioned oil lamp, hurricane-style thing. And there is a woman on the bed in front of you who is fevered and sort of tossing and turning her head back and forth. And you hear someone next to you say, "If you do not tell us what is happening, we cannot help you." And you know exactly where you are. You know exactly who this person is on the bed in front of you and who it is next to you who's asking these questions. You can feel the bottle of water in one hand, the rosary in your other hand, as you back up your leader on this sacred mission. And for a moment, you just see the rictus of horror on the woman on the bed, the sweat, the sort of like very drawn, agonized expression, and it overlays over Delphi's face for a second, and then you're back in the moment.
Delphi? Were you ever possessed?
No. Spirits don't stick around. You die and your spirit goes elsewhere.
I thought I saw your face for a second somewhere else.
Nothing. We need to keep going. I don't know why we're standing on these stairs when we have places we should be.
Okay. Okay, we'll keep going.
So as you move on to the next sort of set of freezes, Esmira can read. Underneath, there is more of those letters that look like Spanish to you, but you're now fairly certain are those pictographs. The first frieze depicts a group of people in sorrow or weeping and crying. And underneath it says, "Once upon a time, the people of the water were very unhappy. They had no food and no hope and no leader who could guide them."
So
The
when I
next
see it,
frieze-
I read it out loud.
The next frieze shows an empty throne tangled in vines. And underneath it says, "Their king was dead, and their land despised them. So they fled to the sands, starving and desolate." As Esmira starts to read this one, you start to hear very far away, like a bass drum. Very, very far, very, very distant. Like a giant, think like a taiko drum, like those big Japanese style ones. The third frieze depicts half of the saddened people leaving, going with a woman carrying a fishing pole about. And underneath the legend reads, "Some of the people left to go east, going with a woman who did not believe in joy, and the rest stayed upon the sand, weeping and crying out for help." The frieze after that, we see a row of tall sunflowers and a man kneeling in front, genuflecting in prayer. And the legend underneath says, "One man, who had never given up on hope, sat amongst their dying crops and wished for salvation." In a moment, the frieze seems to animate, and we see the man straighten up, his head... Where are we? Yeah, we see him straighten up, his head replaced by a massive sunflower that seems to grow out of the bloody stump of his neck. His head, still weeping, is left on the ground. Underneath, Esmira reads, "Then came Wong Kembang, the sunflower man, and he saw the people's sorrow. He danced and sang to bring them joy, and taught them that where there are people, there is always fertile soil." Then we see the sunflower man is leaping and laughing, even as blood fountains from the stump where his head used to be. The people around him at first cower in fear, but then begin to laugh and dance as well. The people begin to plant flowers in the sand, watered by the blood that comes from his neck, and the sunflower-headed man oversees all of it, constantly gambling and loping around them in a distinctly inhuman way. Sometimes a person is torn asunder and buried with the crops as well, intestines like ribbons and blood splashing everywhere. And underneath the legend says, "He taught them how to laugh again, and brought them sunflower seeds to grow, and the people rejoice." And then there is a stretch of stair that doesn't have any of these friezes on either side.
Oh, that's disturbing.
What's disturbing?
So I've been reading the story out loud and wait,
Okay.
so she like you did see it moving, right?
Yeah, all of you saw it moving. And Edith, this all looks familiar, if a slightly more bloody way of showing the same thing that you saw before.
This was my dream. It was puppets and ribbons, except for the sunflower man's head, but this was it. This
Did
is
anything
exactly
else?
what I saw.
Did you see anything else?
I don't remember. God, I have short-term memory loss. Did I see anything else? I don't remember. Help me.
That was the main thing, other than the warning you got. But whether you want to share that or not is up to you.
Fuck, what was the warning I got? I don't remember. I don't remember what it was. I've been so traumatized over the past hour.
Wasn't it not to trust anyone or to be careful who you trusted?
I don't remember. I think that was her first dream, not the second one.
Right. Because you got unfortunate and had two. I forgot.
Two! And I said that part immediately.
So as you continue down, these freezes start again. You see the people still laughing, or maybe screaming, or crying. It's really difficult to tell. Build a tall white tower, and the sunflower-headed man takes a seat on a throne atop of it. They genuflect in front of him, faces stuck in their permanent rictus. And underneath the legend reads, "They laugh and laughed, and danced with the good gardener through their new fields, and built for him a temple so that he would never leave again." So the air seems to change as you're sort of moving through this. Smells matching the freezers. So first there's that sort of like cold, stale smell. Then there's this smell of like strong blood smell. And then there's like flowers, but still with that blood smell underneath as the air quality seems to change. And that drum grows a little bit louder with every freeze you pass. All of you need to make a gut feeling save.
22.
22.
Let me get out of my translation tab. Hold on.
And how did you do, Cove?
27.
27. And how did Edith manage?
20.
20. Okay. Edith, you can write down your first witness, the tale of the good gardener.
Of course it is. I'm so sorry.
I'm concerned that they're not saying what happened to him yet.
So as you're moving down, your flashlight like flickers and occasionally goes out, but the light always comes back. But it makes these carvings look very strange. It makes them look like they're really moving rather than just like very well carved. And the air is absolutely like filled with the scent of flowers. It's very lush and dizzying. And I'm going to make you all make a physical fortitude save.
Oh, crit. Not 20.
Nice. Doesn't bother Esmira.
7.
7, okay. And how did Delphi do?
Lindsay. 7.
7. Okay, the pair of you have disadvantage on discipline checks until the next time you get a full night's sleep.
Great.
Shit.
Oh no.
The best part about that is Edith is like, I don't want to sleep anymore. You gotta.
So you guys have been heading down these stairs for about 45 minutes now. It's much slower and like a more gentle descent than the like moving upwards was. But you come to what is really the end of this set of stairs. And I'm going to get you all to roll a gut feeling.
17.
17.
So 17.
17.
1.
1. Okay, Delphi. Delphi, you hear a voice. And it's that same voice you just heard before. That unfamiliar, but you know who it is kind of a voice. And it's whispering from sort of higher up on the stairs. And it says, "Look, you can always make it up to me. You know, you could come with me and we can be together. We could, you know, I know that I'm not your type and you're honestly not my type, but that doesn't mean that we can't dance together. We could spend time together and get to know each other, and maybe that would make up for the things that you did, for everything that you did to me. What if you did it to someone else and you never even knew? How many people has this happened to, really? But if you come with me and we leave together, then it'll never happen to anyone else again. You'll never do what you did again. And the dancer will take us both away. We can dance among the flowers forever."
freaking the fuck out. She is like scrambling backwards away from the stairs, probably to the point where she's like falling on her ass just to not be in that direction anymore.
And all of you can hear from at the very top of the stairs, from that doorway that you came in through, the sound of a group of people moving down the stairs towards you. They're laughing, they're like capering as they move, like they're not moving like slowly or carefully the way you did or in a measured way, but like they are like having a good time. They're like silly with them, you know? They're laughing, they're chatting, and all of you hear familiar voices from up there. You hear the voice of a lover, you hear the voice of a family member, you hear the voice of a victim. All of these people talking about how they're going to catch up with you, and once they do, they'll make you understand why what you did was wrong. And that's why we're going to leave it for this week. Thank you all for tuning in. Please come back next week for our third episode of the Copper Pyramid. I hope you're all having as much fun as I am and as my players are not having. So that's exactly what we want from a horror game, I feel. I've been your game master. I'm Ran. I have a little link that I'm sure will get posted in the chat where you can find all of the things that I do. I make game systems, I write things. I will be posting this campaign for you to purchase once this stream is over if people want to run it for their own group of unlikely victims. Yeah, let's have our goodbyes, everybody.
Jenny, I use she, they pronouns. You just saw me play Edith. And I'm traumatized. You can find me on Twitter at CeruleanSiren19. I do art commissions. And I'm a voice actor. What the fuck?
Hi, I'm Nicole. I play as Mira. You can catch Cove and I on Saturdays on Meister Hyperster's Twitch for Vampire, where it is decidedly less scary and much more friendly and less freaky outy. And oh wow, we are in trouble.
Hi, I'm Cove. I use all pronouns. I play Delphi, who uses she, her pronouns. She's still optimistic, I swear. She's fucked.
Thank you all for watching. Check out our sponsors. There's a lot of cool stuff available. Die Hard Dice, Hero Forge, World Anvil. We've got a stream tomorrow, Dragon's Crown. Is that right? People who play in that stream. So you should check that out. And please come back next week where I'll probably kill somebody. Thank you. Have a great night.
Bye.